hello, and welcome to Lifestyles of the New Golden Age. I'm your host, Giselle Koy, broadcasting live from Austin, Texas. I hope everyone is feeling great tonight. Tonight is the second part of my interview with Sandra Walter. Sandra is an interdimensional guide, gatekeeper, and masterful Ascension teacher from Mount Shasta. She's been teaching Ascension for a while now, and her website, and I invite you to go to it right now, to scroll around while we're talking, is Sandra Walter, just like it sounds, .com. Please feel free to check it out. It's so much information. It's a whole course in itself, just on the free stuff alone. So tonight we're going to slow it down a little bit and continue our conversation about our collective and individual ascension. Let me start with this thought. You know, we all have a desire to know where we stand. Our grades in school, our bank accounts, our sports ranking, the Olympics, it's just inherent in our nature. And I also think we have a desire to know where we stand on our spiritual journey, on our road to mastery. And this is not so much from an ego point of view, but it gives us a sense of where are we in the bigger scheme of things? Where do we fit in? And, oh, my God, how much further do we have to go? So that's a big one right there. So this is why we are curious also about our galactic heritage. Where do we come from as star beings? I call this our galactic proprioception, and it's about finding out where we are in this universe as multidimensional beings. And that's what the show is about tonight. Where are we in the ascension process, and where am I, meaning you, in your ascension process? Exactly where do I fit in the grandest of all schemes in this infinite intelligence? So with that in mind, that's our subject tonight. And let's just say hello again. Sandra, I hear you giggling, or you did giggle. Hello, Sandra.
Blessings, sister. It's wonderful to reconnect with you tonight. Thank you.
I know. I want to thank you so much for agreeing to do the show again. Last night was just not long enough, and it's like, after the deer in the headlights of, you know, the little glitch we had, it's like we really needed to finish it up tonight on a little slower level. So I'm going to start with, last night when I didn't talk to you, I started talking about what you have on your website as the 4 stages of where you can find out where you are in the ascension process. And I thought they were excellent. And I'm wondering if you could just, one by one, go through them and give us your version of them.
Oh, sure. And just for clarity, it's not about judgment or separating people into groups. It's merely a litmus test for, wow, I'm kind of in that category and I want to be in that category, or I want to experience something else. It's always a conscious choice to level up. It's always a conscious choice to participate in your own ascension process. So the levels are just basic groups of awakened folks on that right now.
I think it's very brave of you to listen, because most ascension teachers, like, you know, they'll ask you a question. When actually, hey, can you just say it? We're not going to sue you. We're not going to, you know, be mad at you for categorizing, but sometimes we need some categories. I think it's so helpful to us. So anyway, continue on, please.
Check-in. You know, it's just a check-in. And they were just, I mean, it's just 4 basic groups. Awake to the very basic levels are awake to conspiracy or awake to light. And I put conspiracy at the bottom because it is the densest. And it's just based on density. Where are you in your awakening process? Folks that awaken to conspiracy can be all-consuming for people who have not leveled up or haven't had an experience of awakening to light at all. They realize, you know, we reached the tipping point years ago where the collective consciousness realized something is up. You know, there was collective suspicion that things were not as they seemed. And the awakening to conspiracy crowd, though, can get stuck there because a lot of the forums and a lot of the information is built in the same way that the fear dynamics of which they are actually reading about are created. It's an addiction. It's a belief system. A lot of people treat it like a religion. This is the truth because I read it online. This is the truth because so-and-so says that. And instead of leveling up to awakening to who they truly are, they kind of get stuck in the conspiracy stuff consistently talking about, we see it in Shasta all the time, when the rainbow kids come in, here's a whole tribe of beautiful, star seeds and awakened beings, and they're all stuck in, a lot of them stuck in the conspiracy stuff, just constantly talking about secret government and chemtrails and everything, not even realizing that you get a couple levels up from that, none of that matters at all. None of that stuff matters. And just
that's true.
None of it matters. It doesn't. What does it have to do with your journey? Nothing. What it has to do with your journey, if you're sitting around talking about it all the time and you can't experience anything else, or you think that you're posing.
I also want to add that there is some aspect of that is actually healthy, because it is part of the awakening process to look at what's going on and how we've been fooled, so to speak, in our genetic tampering. And I think that is part of the awakening process that does help. Like, for example,
it does. It does, because the dark, the dark always created, no matter what they do, even if they can, create a giant conspiracy for them, they always create a paradox that assists the ascension. It was inevitable. It happened. It's happening. The shift in consciousness is inevitable. But when you, and a word to the wise, everyone who is feeding those programs, whether you're listening, and I don't care if you're listening to the show or higher level, y'all get a heads up right now, because that stuff is dissolving, and it's doing the last grab at consciousness to try to hold something back that is inevitable. This year, all that gets blown apart. So, word to the wise, don't get stuck in something that you think is true, or you think still exists. People still obsessed with reptilian agendas and stuff because they just discovered David Icke, who's,
okay,
things like,
I'm going to stop.
That stuff is still floating around.
Absolutely. I'm going to just admit my guilty pleasure in these last few days has been about researching the fact that the moon is just a dead rock that is actually designed to inhibit our frequency. It's a frequency blocker here for planet Earth that was actually towed in. So I'm going to admit that I have been researching that because I find it fascinating. And it kind of resonated true, but we don't even have to address that right now. So if I walk through
technically, all moons are artificial. So, that's, you just have to keep going with that stuff. And how applicable is it to your journey? When you're presented with any of that information, a lot of people will see chemtrails and they're running around like Henny Penny going, oh, my God, look at what they're doing, look at what they're doing. They're actually reinforcing the existence of that rather than doing anything about it. Talking about it, doing things, taking care of the body, talking about it in your community, actually going, holding people accountable for their actions, all this stuff. It's up to the collective what you're going to do with the information. But to know and not do is to not know at all. So if you know something, if you know it's true and you're not doing anything about it, or if you're not doing anything about it in your own life stream, congratulations, you're in a program. You got trapped. So
it's a program, exactly right. You know what? I just actually got a text from a friend. He said, "Tell Sandra, thank you for talking about this, because I know him and he does subscribe to this." And I want to say one thing I've seen: a lot of people get hung up. It's like a fraternity. Conspiracy theorists form a fraternity that it's an endless cycling of they never get out of it. It's just like they're just stuck in the uncovering of how we've been screwed. There's a healthy side to that, and then a stuck place with that is how I would see it. What about you?
Yeah, and if everyone will just feel into the energy of that stuff, is it giving you some kind of weird rush? That is the same. That same fear trigger, it's marketing, it's a program. It's the same thing that created all the conspiracy is the same stuff that runs all the conspiracy addiction. It's the same energy.
Yes.
It's brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant.
Yeah.
But I'm like, great, well played. Can we get out of there? Can everybody, and I don't like even talking about that stuff because I don't want that, that dynamic. It's hard to penetrate. It's just like religion. It's just like secret society. It's the same thing. When you're in it, you don't see anything else. So it's time, the whole Yeah, so the idea of the levels of awakening was to, at least if people are stumbling across, Ascension Curious, stumble across that, and I buried it on my website. It's under, like, what is Ascension, the beginning stuff. When you're first coming in, what is Ascension, what are the levels? Oh, my God, I'm stuck in conspiracy. I need to get out of there. So what's next? Awakening to light. Now, awakening to light is when, I call it the early light worker phase. All of a sudden they discover, again, God bless the Internet. We've had a lot of information go around that does help people, but a lot of it becomes religion. The same with the light worker. It's like an advice loop, or try this, or activate that, or this is true, or that is true. And trying to, discover all the pieces of yourself is wonderful, but when it turns into, beware the long arm of cosmic law on this stuff, because policing the collective with your own judgments, your own enforcement of your own beliefs, or what you think the truth is, which is just their truth, their own belief systems are like a religion. So there's a lot of the light worker crowd, too, stuck in that. Well, this is what this means because I read a book that was published 10 years ago, or, whatever, that's like, this is what this means, that's what that number means, that's what that color means, that's what that ray means, and this is the person that's associated with it, da-da-da-da-da, and that is the law. So it's another layer of that religion, and we want to get out of that advice loop. I used to joke that somewhere on Facebook there's a light worker giving unsolicited advice. At any moment in time, there was this loop going on where people were just getting stuck, or they get stuck in talking about symptoms and the process of ascension. And that's another level. And I'm going to complete, those sections aren't complete on my website yet, but I'll complete those next week. But the awakening to light is, to be a guardian of this new light that's coming in. It's not about a battle. The battle is over. If everyone can just feel into that. I got that message from Sitting Bull a couple years ago. The battle is over. It is about way showing what divinity
I love that.
It's about the higher expression. Get out of there. What are you doing there? It's the same thing as conspiracy. Wonderful. You learned Reiki. Thank you. Now, please don't treat it as a religion. It's a beautiful healing gift, but it's not the be-all and end-all because we are infinite beings, and there is an infinite amount of light intelligence coming to the planet and being revealed, and we have to stay wide open if we want to evolve along with this planetary consciousness that's has already ascended, and now we get to go if we so choose. So this is all part of the advancement of our light intelligence beingness. And then after you get out of there's the awakening to light. I had a weird experience, and now I'm hanging out doing group meditations. This is beautiful. No judgment on the work. Absolutely beautiful that people are exploring their spirituality. If you so choose to have a more expanded experience, then you go to the conscious ascending tribe, the conscious ascension. Ascension is a choice. It doesn't just get bestowed upon you. Yes, we're on a planet that's ascending. Yes, a lot of people ascended in 2012. You already have that aspect that's up there hanging out on New Earth already. Very aware of it. However, ascension is a conscious choice to engage with your own evolution. And that's when you start letting go of all the lower stuff, all the beliefs, the mind, the ego, the emotions, letting it go, processing what you need to process, but not getting stuck. That's awake to light.
Yes.
Not getting stuck
and I would add to this, actually stepping into your mastery. It's like there comes a moment when you just realize you actually have it, but you're kind of on a default program of behaving as if you don't. This is like a huge breakthrough for me lately. And I would say this is under this consciously ascending. Like, you know what? You're kind of better off than you think. It's just use it and exhibit it. It's like, just remember, oh, yes, my mastery.
Yeah, and we all, everyone wavers as you awaken. You waver in between, some light workers also in the drama of the conspiracy thing. Some people with Ascension also want to, I feel comfortable if I say this one mantra all the time, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
There's a little wavering with the expansion, and that's normal. You're like a balloon, you're expanding, and then you shrink back, and then you expand a little bit more, and you shrink back. But we want to make sure that we just keep expanding outward. But there's so much more to us. I mean, we have incredible consciousness incarnated on this planet right now, and the more we let go of what we thought we were, even just starting from a point of scratch every once in a while and going, you know what, too much information, the best thing you can do for your ascension and your mastery a lot of the time is get offline. Honestly.
Oh, Sandra, thank
what
you
do
for
you
that.
know?
That is absolutely.
What do you know?
You know what? Because I was just going to say, this is between these two levels. The level or the stage where you're at, where you get your direct guidance, your direct information. You're not. I mean, you might want to be inspired by the internet or Facebook, but you're like, it's between you and Source, and that's your guidance, that's your walk, that's your everything. And I guess that happens in the consciously ascending, because I think a lot of us can get addicted to like, well, let's see what everyone's saying about the galactic weather report or this, and constantly checking in.
Helpful. Yeah, and it is helpful when you're, because I know I've, in the last few months, the last 6 months, I'm like, do I really have to give, the Ascension update? And there's been so many people who are like, when I need it and you show up, thank you. I need it sometimes. So I'm like, okay, so we're not out of that phase yet. But when people are getting overwhelmed by information, or they just can't sort things out, or they read and believed one guy's story and then they went and, but that guy says that, or there's so much like spiritual candy out there that it can get addictive. So disconnect. That's why I did the 14-day fast. I'm like, disconnect, shut it down. What do I got? What's going on with the mind level? What's going on with the spiritual level? What's going on with the emotional level? You've got to, we're going through a planetary detox right now. So it's very good to support it. You got to support it. Because
wait, did you
otherwise,
just now finish? Did you do a fast right now? I think you're coming off of it.
Yeah, I got 2 days left. I feel amazing.
Oh, that's so inspiring.
But here's the thing, too, and it wasn't just water the whole time. I had to add juice, especially when the flare hit on Monday. I drank juice on Monday and Tuesday. But the thing that reveals to me is, okay, where is my mind or my emotions stepping in? I want to have dominion over that. Mastery is not about my ultimate control over everything, but it does let you check in with what has changed. A lot of people are like, well, I tried to fast, 3 years ago. It was the worst days of my life or whatever. It's like, try it now. Energy changes all the time. Energy changing, shifting all the time. You do. I thought I was going to be in bed for the last week of the fast, and I have more energy than ever. Just like, I'm like, wow, my crystalline structures are just off the charts, and I'm just drinking tons and tons of water. And here's the thing, you can start to feel the changes. You want to support the body as much as possible, and especially during this, we've got a global detoxification of distortion going on. So that means all distortion is amplified. It doesn't mean it's like, suddenly just going to drop off the map. It means all distortion is being amplified. And the mastery lesson here is knowing yourself and your own life stream, that humility. When you're getting into the conscious ascension, learning humility, pure service, balance, getting into the heart and staying there each moment, no judgment on your own journey or others. That's compassion for everyone. Even if you're not there yet, pretend that the bad guys are you, because they are. How would you like to be treated? Can you show can you show to the densest of people, those that you judge as dark, or confront them with alternatives in order to support the new? Hey, brother, you're going to be in deep, schmazzola in a few months when all this goes down. What are you going to need when everybody's at your door going, you betrayed us? These are the people that you need to have compassion for, Otherwise, we're going back to the dark ages, and you're trying to hang people. It's like, where's the compassion for that? You have to have deep compassion for the darkest people on the planet. People who are, then they're not dark. They just got lost. For the people who really got lost, that is not brother humanity. That is, the people that a lot of folks consider the top of the pyramid. If you can have true compassion for those people, and when those beings show up in your living room as you're doing missions of clemency or whatever, when those folks show up in your living room and you can look them right in the eye and be like, I love you. What can I do for you?
Oh, my God.
They're coming to you because you are the new light, and the game is over. So this is the point. We have, we have many teams of people, those in service, working on this right now and have been for years. This has been going on for a long time. There's no one, on and off switch.
That is so powerful. I can feel that. That is like a huge game changer. That's like the whole planet agreeing to get rid of judgment, negative emotions, whatever. And, if you think about it, it's another one of those things. It's not that hard to do. If you just stop and catch yourself in the moment and see the judgment. I've been sending, every time I judge someone, which, of course, we do it all day long, or part of our brain does, it's like send a blessing, send a blessing. But what you're talking about is on a much bigger scale, so thank you for that. That is just, I can just feel that just going out right now across the globe, just that whole thought.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay.
And that is the ultimate act of detached compassion. No matter what, you are love. No matter what, I will stand here in my mastery and say, do you need something from me? Because I see that you are lost, and I see that this is going to be hard.
Have you heard of idiot compassion? Do you ever hear that term?
No, I haven't.
Well, it's used to refer to, like, I don't know, it's just like helping someone at the point of codependency, or it's knowing when and how to help. And sometimes when you think you're helping, you're actually not. It's actually serving some need that you have or something. So I like to be conscious of that as well. So what you're talking about is not like every person you meet, give them all your money, and every homeless person, give them a place to live. It's not about that exactly. It's more of an energetic level of meeting people with love at any stage, beyond all judgment.
Mm-hmm, absolutely. And this is the thing, if you're one of those folks that's getting out of the awakened to conspiracy or awakened to light patterns, let's call them patterns, realize that you need to get into a state of beingness. It's not about preaching or converting or imposing your thoughts or beliefs on others. It's not about blasting things that you determine in your own mind level or otherwise are dark, or if things are telling you that's dark, blast it with light. It's not about that. Right now we need beings, beautiful beings that are incarnated right now, to step into that transcendent level, because that is the ultimate power. And this is why, and I don't talk about this very often, but this is why all of the financial changes that people have been anticipating for decades. This has been going on for a long time. For those of you who have awoken recently, there have been promises of big change or things happening behind the scenes for a long time. The reason why all of our beloved star brethren don't land and just take care of it is not just because the collective of humanity is going through an ascension and we're all allowed and entitled to our own awakening experience. It's because behind the scenes, all of this is we are attempting to unfold these great shifts on the planet with the least damage, minimal damage. Mm-hmm. And that's psychological as well. There's going to be a huge psychological fallout from the shift. We can start to see it already, people getting a little bananas sometimes. It's okay. But we need to support on the ground everyone who's around us and say, you know what, I appreciate your opinion or your perspective on that situation, but I'm feeling something different. It's having the true mastery of knowing the true self and knowing what is beyond and bringing it heaven to earth. This is what we're doing, bringing heaven to earth, bringing it in right now. In heaven, we don't bitch about chemtrails. We don't impose our mantra is the right mantra, our mudra is the right mudra. We don't impose on each other. It's a celebration of everything. And if someone is doing something that's not in the highest interest of all concerned, and it's going to affect millions of people or a global population, when the shift hits the fan, everything is being done to put things in their place to make it as easy as possible. And no matter what decisions we make behind the scenes, when that all gets revealed, there's still going to be a lot of people who are going to be suspicious of everything because they got stuck in the fear dynamic. They got stuck in the doubt.
There's a whole aspect of this ascension where you have to believe in the benevolence of it. It's not like we're people trying to do things. These great beings and this whole process is all about making it as easy as possible. And the universe is watching this. And before we get into the whole galactic thing, I want to keep going with transcendence, and I want you to describe, do I know somebody transcended? Who is transcended? So let's talk about what that looks like. And if there are people walking the earth like that now, just because there's a lot of definitions of that. So I'm moving you on to transcendence.
Yeah, transcendence has presented to me as, at first I thought it was transfiguration, and Yeshua and a couple of other masters were like, no, this is something new. So the promise of us being able to fully embody a Christed consciousness, or that solar cosmic Christ state of being, that true mastery in the body without leaving the body, without having to go off planet or drop the body altogether.
Yeah, that's what we want right there.
The transcendence is embodying a fifth, sixth dimensional state of beingness, either walking between being able to dematerialize and rematerialize, or you're going to New Earth altogether. Just like that.
Both options sound fantastic. Count me in.
Yeah, and it's, and again, the intention has to be there. Why do I want to transcend? Do I want to get out of here? Oh my God, it's a zoo. All right, then you're not going to transcend. You're not done yet. You have to be done with service. And it is all about service. Everything is about service. You get to a certain level in ascension, everything is about service. Everything is about the love.
Okay.
And the transcendence is just that state of beingness where you get it. All of a sudden you get it, and you'll start to feel all that stuff that we've been promised, DNA activation, that wasn't even available until this year. Suddenly, all of that stuff is starting to come forward. You're like, oh, okay, that's when the work is going to show. And then when those structures start supporting that, and we have a lot of help at that level, if you're choosing to be in that first wave in late 2015, you already know it. You're already on it, and that's not that's not a train that's leaving. That is the beginning of a new phase of humanity's ascension. And whether it means we're walking around and some people can see us and some people can't, I feel that's going to happen. Just by
well, let me ask you this question: do you feel like you are transcended?
No. I'm learning. It doesn't even happen until the end of 2015. So here we are. We're in a phase of preparing for transcendence. There have been masters who have transcended in the past, where they're able to drop the body and go, dissolve out of your reality. We've had Buddhist monks that have disappeared. Their vibration all of a sudden, they're gone. There's a lot of stories about that, going rainbow body. A lot of people describe it as that state of matching the higher vibration. And you match more of the higher vibration than you do the lower, and then it's a matter of physics, tipping point. Okay, you're done.
That is fantastic information. Going rainbow body, I love that. And also, hey, check it out. 2015 is not that far away.
Well, that's the thing. When you think about, it's 16
around the corner.
Yeah.
So
and I learned, and through like this fast that I'm on, a lot of the different work that I'm getting into, it's you can feel it. You just need to be open to allowing that to occur, encouraging that to occur, knowing how to command the body vehicle, knowing how to get yourself clear, knowing how to consistently confront the lower levels as your higher self, because we are merging with that. And so higher self starts to step in. It gets much easier to tell the mind to be quiet. You know, we're not repressing emotions, but we're taking a look at it. What is this? Does it have anything to do with my journey now? Am I done? Am I going to drop this? Am I going to...
This is what Mastery has been teaching us all along, all of these aspects. So I think that's very exciting, and everyone listening, that's encouraging. It could be happening in 2015, and you may get invisible, and you may get to travel around, you may leave the planet altogether, but it's all just very exciting. So this is the part of the proprioception where we can kind of see the light at the beginning of the tunnel here. And I think it's very exciting. So thank you for categorizing that. It gives all of us a frame of reference that we all understand and kind of can find ourselves in that. So I want to move on because I have so much I want to talk to you about. I'm going to go to the planet. And there was something I saw on your website and just rocked my world the other day. And, you know, you hear all these people, they were like, well, the galaxy is watching Earth right now. It's like we are the star of the universe. If we don't do this, and I never could understand, like, why are we so important? We are this tiny planet, the blue planet, and why is everything hinging on us? Why is everyone watching us? And the way you put it, you said that Earth is kind of the weakest link, and until we all get it together, the galaxy isn't going to ascend either. So that made sense. They're all going, come on, Earth, we can't go till you go. So that kind of made a lot of sense.
Yeah, well, there's certain things that have to happen with this planet in order for, it's inevitable. Again, you know, universal rewrite. Now then you get down to the galactic level, galactic rewrite, then down to the solar system level, and here we are, you know, and our whole solar system is like, go Gaia, you know, which is why, you know, and there were certain windows, there's these cosmic triggers, these windows of opportunity, and Gaia had to take that opportunity in December of 2012. It was like, you know, all the help up to that, harmonic convergence, everything aligning to help her create that higher expression. And now that she has that fully anchored, a place where you can actually go and visit and be and exist and can contain humans. I'm not talking about like a multidimensional, you know, experience. I'm talking about an actual place that you can go to and ascend to. That window of opportunity was definitely at the end of 2012, and she took it. So now we have a fully anchored expression of Gaia. We have a holographic projection that is being run by benevolent consciousness. Help. Also, Gaia's focus can be on her fifth, sixth dimensional self. There's a lot of integration, even on a planetary level, for that kind of ascension. And now the fourth dimensional expression is the one that all the galactics are focused on, because they're like, come on. You know, it's like, okay, all these wonderful, we're telling you over and over again who you are, what you're doing here, what's happening with the planet, what are you doing, you know, and it is up to humanity to step into that responsibility and accountability for your own life. That's huge right now. If we expect it from the external, it's got to come internal first. You want accountability from the big bad guys, you got to go local. Your life stream, your community, what are you doing? You know, that's the lessons that are have been presenting for decades now, but now we're getting into an energetic space in the proton belt that is bombarding us with activity. And as we go through these energetic gateways, they are opportunities to expand our consciousness. And it is, you know, there's a release of the lowest levels of density every time we go through one of these gateways. And I got upset about that last year or the year before, because I was shown it was like taking, you know, if you want to consider a big pyramid, like a levels of humanity, it was like we're taking out the base, you know, we're taking out the lowest, the densest stuff, and like taking out one rung of the ladder and then adding another one on top. So it's like now we have all these rungs on the top of the ladder going up into this transcendence process, and the stuff that used to be available on the bottom no longer energetically supported, so it gets taken out. And I felt, I know it's an act of mercy for the collective, but I also felt a lot of compassion for the folks that got stuck on the bottom. I'm like, wait, they're still our brothers. They're like, oh, time's up. Sorry, it's like it's all universal substance, infinite substance, trying to get attached to an expression. It's like, okay, so it is. But this is where we are right now, and the all the encouragement that all the beloved starseeds are getting right now to step forward. Take a look at where you are in your process. Take a look at where you are on that ladder, and let's not get stuck. You want to continue forward.
And absolutely, it's like the time is so perfect and right. It's like it is now. This is happening right now in the biggest. I mean, this is it. This is like the show has begun. The curtain's gone up, and we're in it. I want to address something. Changing subjects a little bit, and that is, like, we keep talking about the benevolence of all this. I want to talk about the heart, and I want to talk about how it relates to telepathy, because it's a really beautiful part of your journey when you first learn, when you communicate through the heart and you receive messages. I know it was a really turning point for me, and I'd just like to switch to that for a moment.
Yeah, and I learned that in a very potent lesson a couple of years ago. I was up on the mountain. I was like, what if I just send out a big beam of gold light from my heart center? Because I was getting into, finally, the solar cosmic Christed beingness, feeling that coming through, and my heart was huge and everything. And it was instant. I sent out a beam, just projected a beam through my heart, and instantly this light ship from way over the mountain beamed back, just like instantly. It was like, hello, like right back.
Oh.
And I was like, wow, okay. And started moving into that and got a lot of guidance from my team, my higher levels, about what that was about, that all the communication, and everyone, you can do this instantly. Just take all the mind chatter and take your consciousness and touch your heart with your consciousness. You're dropping all of your consciousness in your awareness into your heart center. And you'll feel it. It's like an elevator. All of a sudden, the elevator drops down into the heart. And it's there.
It's beautiful. So, you can feel it right now. It's very activating right now. And, I want to share my story is very similar to yours, because I got lost driving in Sedona one night a couple of years ago, and a light ship showed up with a million lights and just flashed on. And it was like all this information was just like thrown into my heart about love, and I could actually feel the beings on the ship. They were like brothers saying, hey. They flashed on and off a couple of times, and I was in tears at the amount of love that poured in, and the detailed information of our communication about these were these guys I was familiar with, and we just had a conversation. And that was like probably one of the most significant events so far, and the heart. And then also any kind of channeling work you do or any kind of database stuff, it all comes through the heart. Like when I'm channeling, I don't get words. I get something goes through my heart, like information, and then it has to go through my filter of my words, of my vocabulary, of my experience, of this collection of images which constitute me, this filtration system, and it comes out. But it does come in through the heart. And so, yeah.
Yes,
like
absolutely, because that's the way higher beingness presents. That's the way higher beingness communicates. The language of the universe is metaphor. This is expressing as pure creator. That's why light language means so much more than there is no word-by-word translation of light language. You have to feel it. It's the same with telepathic communication. You're going to receive things. I was connecting with Max, Crystal Skull Max, and it's such a beautiful experience because the information comes in, and you have to let the mind level go. When you're communicating, when you're getting into telepathic communication, and I gave those little instructions on my site, left hand on the heart, right hand up, right hand contains your light signature. That is your signature throughout the entire universe for your beingness. no matter what expression.
Okay, pause right there, because I think that I love that.
Yeah.
I have a lot of different ways for guidance, but I've been doing that the last few days. Left hand on the heart. I just want to slow it down for people. Right hand in the air. So your right hand is your receiver and your transmitter. Is that what you're saying also?
For telepathic interaction, yes. Well, telepathic interaction also, it makes like a triangle, pineal, light signature, heart center. And
okay, so everyone experiment with that. And for guidance, for telepathy, for anything, I've just been doing that, and it's like you get instant messages. So I love it. I know it's probably really basic, but it's so effective. I love that little technique.
And remember, with any kind of communication, it's vibration equals vibration. What are you putting out? What do you want to talk? It's like picking up a phone. You know, it's like, okay, who am I going to dial? Am I going to dial? Who do I want to talk to? Be clear before you pick up the phone. If you're just standing there with an open receiver and anything can pick up, you know, it's like, come on.
Well, I just say the words, everything God sanctioned. Anyone I want to talk to, I always ask for God sanctioned everything that comes through. It kind of helps.
Ooh.
I don't know if that's just I use those
highest
words.
being, so the highest integrity, pure light. You know, universal law. If you feel like a lot of interference, you know, a lot of people attracting that, you know, put up your right hand, light signature. By the way, that's where all the native tribes get the hand up in the air symbol from. You know, it's Pleiadian. but you know, you put your hand up in the air and you pull universal law in the name of the divine human creator incarnate that I am, in the name of universal law. Any being trying to interfere or control me, manipulate me in any way, be gone. You're not welcome here. Get out. You know, and just do
I
that.
love that.
Because the minute a divine human being steps into their power, the jig is up. You know, people don't even realize that. The minute you, and I was joking with Ryan. We were talking about Ryan earlier. I was joking with Ryan about this too when we first got together. I was like, do you ever like have something show up and like 6 of your expressions are standing and standing with you, and you all turn slowly like, can I help you? And they like run away, you know, because the minute you step into your power, it's done. The game is over. They're like, oh damn, she's awake. Okay, bye. You know, it's that easy. You just have to
That's so awesome.
You just have, you know, again, the self-empowerment thing. But it's working from the heart. We're not out to blast anything, punish, judge.
Yeah.
You know, and the thing about the heart is living from the heart, operating from the heart each moment. No agenda. Listening. Patience. Listen without judgment to what's being said in the now. Is your reaction based on something you think you know, or a knee-jerk reaction to information, or are you actually listening? Because people will say things, and there are even just as light language is for the rest of the universe. When people are expressing themselves, they'll say one thing, and there's a million different things going on behind that language. If you can feel, you know, some of us getting extremely, you know, if you're an empath at all, you feel there's no veil there anymore. You're like, oh, brother, you're saying one thing, but I see all this stuff that's going on with you. Just be real. It's okay. It's safe, and make it safe. Not I can see that and you can't, or you're trying to hide something, but the compassion of standing there and saying, do you need help with this? Or here's what I think. You know, as sugar-coated as much as you can to get through the defense systems that other people have. You know, it's like, well, in my perspective, you know, this is what I'm receiving, or however you want to express yourself, but it's honoring all the journeys, but being authentic, direct, and unique. You know, respond.
And not dismissing someone. If you see someone that you don't think they're going to get it, and you kind of dismiss them, like, I'm not even going to bother sharing, that's not good either. You don't want to do that.
If some people are stuck, they'll learn. You know, sometimes the best thing we can do as teachers, you know, if you're a way shower and people are just in fight mode, you know, delete them, get rid of them, whatever, they'll come back. Trust me. You know, 6 years ago, I used to tolerate everybody. You know, a few years ago.
Oh,
now I'm like, I'll see you soon. You know, because there's no time for that. Like, go to my website. If you don't have the patience, to even go to my website, and you just want to like send me a fierce email through YouTube or whatever, that's fine. I never read those messages. Sorry.
Hey, I want to.
Paragraph. Fine.
So everybody take note. Don't bother Sandra like that with little stuff. Go to her website first. Okay, going back to a second. You know, the hand on the heart thing, and this is just a little practical advice for everyone. Like, lately, when I was in Sedona, I couldn't sleep. I slept maybe 2 or 3 hours a night for, I don't know when I'm going to crash, but it's like been 7 days now. This is a good technique for sleepless nights, the hand on the heart and the right hand up. I hadn't read it at the point, but I just want to tell everyone, you know, a lot of us, the energy gets really cranked up and we're not sleeping, and so this is good for that. Okay, so another good practical application.
And a lot of the time we're awake on purpose. It's like, well, why am I awake from, 1 o'clock on, or whatever. It's
I know, it's so crazy.
Use your time
Sandra,
wisely, and that doesn't mean doing. It means being with it, being with the energy. What's here for me? Asking, okay, I'm going to be open right now because I'm awake.
Yeah, I think some of us, like, I know sometimes when I can't sleep, I think there's something wrong with me, and I'll just kind of like maybe writhe around in anxiety, like, oh my God, instead of just like, hey, I'm awake. Why don't I get up and use this? And so I'm going to shift over and get out of my sleeping program. So listen, we have 10 minutes left, and I have 2 things I want to talk about. One of them is the sun, and one of them is Mount Shasta. So I'm just going to go into the sun. And the first thing I wanted to mention was a quote that you had. It says, the merge happens in the sun. And I think so many of us, another program is the sun is bad, don't get in the sun, get out of the sun. And I just think that is just like criminal, because the sun is such a source of information and language. And, I mean, it is cosmic intelligence raining on us every day. So I was wondering if you could address that and about the
Sure.
How you see
I'm a sun gazer. Early in the morning and sunset. I live in the mountains, so it's a little bit later than a lot of folks. But I'm a sun gazer. But there are some mornings when the sun, who my term is Solaris, when Solaris is like, not today, then don't do it. Sometimes the sun is very intense. But all of our information, the sun is what we use as a prism to project our consciousness into this solar system. Technically, your higher self is on the other side of that solar gateway. So when I say the merge happens in the sun, it's the same, the way that we step in, fractalizing, using the sun to enter the solar system. Everything has to come through the solar system. Everything has to come through the sun to get into the solar system. So when people are leaving the body and going into the light, you're going through the solar gateway. You come in, you go out that way. That's the way it was. Now that we're merging with our higher levels, you can use the sun as a way to connect with your higher levels. It's a way to receive energy. It's a way to receive downloads. That's what all the flares and the CMEs are about. Everything comes through the sun. It's a trickle-down effect. Multiverse center, universe center, galactic center, great central sun, Solaris, solar heart center. This is the thing. Wow. As our solar heart center opens up, this is why the heart is so important. You're turning into a spiritual sun. This is the whole, the Son of God, that legend of the Son of God. This is the solar heart center, the solar beingness. It is a unique aspect of being a human. It's unique to the human race to be able to embody that, to be able to project part of your consciousness into a human embodiment and become that solar light. And because Gaia is transforming into a spiritual sun, and our sun transforming into a central sun, there's going to be a whole new hierarchy going on. But the beings upon a spiritual sun will actually embody the solar cosmic Christed consciousness. You're going to be a whole race of people with that solar heart activation. That's why the heart is so important. So important.
That is so fascinating. What you did, that was an activation right there to go from galactic sun, our solar arc, I think you have a couple others, into our heart. And there was actually a connection made just by you saying that. I hope everyone just can feel that lineup, because I do feel like it all comes through the heart is a prison sometimes. I know that it's all going to happen in there. On so many levels. But that was beautifully put in this race of golden Christed beings that is, it's basically the crystalline heart, would you say, or is that different from the Christed heart?
No, the crystalline structures start in the heart center, and they replicate from the heart out. So there's no, starting your crystalline structures in your toes. It starts from the heart out, all this stuff. And when the higher self starts stepping in, when you start getting that merge feeling, you'll feel it. The spine gets activated. So a lot of people are like, it's pouring in through my crown. They're going to feel it that way, but it's actually replicating from the heart center out. You might feel your blood starts feeling gold or crystalline, but all of that stuff, all the information gets rewritten from the heart out. And it's a way of taking the sacred geometry of the higher expression and kind of feeding it. It looks like a stream of light that hits the heart center, and then it starts replicating and correcting all the distortion from the heart out. So when we start radiating from the heart, that golden Christed beingness, that is the expression of the true human. Now, the human race, that golden human race, the God-man, exists in many other systems and other planets, but this is the first time that we've done that kind of transformation from a density that had us forgetting everything to a complete state of ascension and then transcendence. So that's the unique part. That's the other fascination with the galaxy, is not, come on, you guys, wake up. It's a beautiful sacred event that is unfolding at the same time that the density is slipping away, at the same time that all these control structures are dissolving, at the same time that the planetary consciousness is going through a great magnetic shift in order to support this new race that's going to be upon her surface. There's so much going on at the same time.
This is truly the miracle quantum birth here. And that is why it's not just the galaxy is not just saying, hurry up because we can't go without you. They're like, oh, my God, holy reverent moment. You guys are going to be doing this, and we want to watch, and I wonder what it's like to be there. And, oh, my God, you guys are the badasses that got to go there, and we're watching everything you do. So that was a beautiful, you painted a picture where I actually could, put a few pieces of the puzzle together. That's absolutely gorgeous. Thank you, Sandra. Gorgeous.
And I hope that it assists people in honoring what's going on right here, right now. I know we have a lot of people obsessed with the rest of the galaxy. It's like, you know what? That'll be there. Right here, right now. This is the show. This is the main event. The event's right here. This is us. Beautiful. So honor it.
It's gorgeous.
And enjoy it.
Oh my God, my heart is just super wide right now. Yeah, precious human hearts, all of us. I mean, I think everyone on the phone right now, I can just feel this major enlarging and warming of the heart, and everyone just breathe that in for a moment. That we took this conversation into what it's all about. This right here. That's just this is it. This one thing.
Mm-hmm.
So we have 4 minutes left. We can either do a closing, or you can tell us if you've ever seen a Dhamma on Mount Shasta.
Everyone is obsessed with Telos. I'm like, what? The surface is much more interesting. I don't know, but I've seen the Dhamma twice. He's presented to me twice. He hasn't said a word to me, and I am crazy clairaudient. I'm like, come on, brother, what's up? But I have no idea. I know that there's a Pleiadian Lemurian alliance, and I know that the Lemurians are assisting in many ways. However, that has nothing to do with my journey as of this moment, but I'll keep you posted. The other thing I did want to mention Yeah, the other thing I did want to mention is something for those in service to be aware of is a lot of times we focus on the grid systems within the planet or the crystalline grid around the planet. Take note of the grid of human hearts that are starting to embody the solar Christed state. It looks like a bunch of light bulbs or fireflies or something. Well, not moving around like that, but all over the globe. If you tap into that, there are many beings on the planet right now starting to move into that state, and when you connect with them, it does become a grid within itself. So if that's a grid that you are guided to tap into, it will support your process through ascension and through transcendence to connect with the other humans, grounded folks on the planet who are starting to step into that pure state of beingness, starting to step into that pure state of mastery. You'll find a lot of strength in that. I know in the Awakening to Light crowd or even in the Ascension crowd, a lot of times there's a focus on connecting with folks that are off-planet, higher masters or whatever, but they've been giving a strong signal lately. It's like connect with you have no idea of the power that is in the grounded folks right now. So feel into that, connect with it if you so choose, and kind of see it as like looks like a big mandala. It's beautiful.
I think there's kind of a picture like that. There's a picture of Metatron that floats around. It's got this light bulb-looking grid in a lattice formation. That's what I'm seeing right now when you're talking about it. But that is a beautiful message, heart-centered. We're going to end on the heart space. I'm going to end on the heart space and say, Sandra, I love you, and I thank you for being on the show, and it looks like we're probably going to do it again. So thank you, and thank you, everyone, for listening.
Yes, blessings, everyone. It's an honor.
Good night.